are we going today?
What are we doing today?
Yeah.
We're going to film video on cockatoos, but I can't come here without seeing Clifford. Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Cliff.
Hey, Pick.
Oi.
Hey, Pick. Oh, you want to clean yourself. Okay. When do I get cuddles? Alright guys, we're back at Sky Bird Aviaries. Today's video is going to be a little different. We're actually going to focus on another species. So we did one on Amazon parrots. This one here we're going to do on cockatoos, blacks and whites. So red-tailed blacks are the predominant species that are bred in New Zealand. We're also going to touch base on galahs, major Mitchells, corellas and things like that. So we'll have Mary Lee with us today. We're just going to go round, show the black cockatoos and the white cockatoos, talk about nest boxes, breeding, diet and all that sort of stuff. Alright, so follow along. This should be a good one.
Pretty Mary Lee.
She's on her way out. She's just standing in the doorway as she always does. So
Sorry?
she's coming. Here she comes.
Oh,
don't trip over the door. Alright Mary Lee, so we're in one of the aviaries with one of your pairs of red-tailed blacks. Is this a prolific breeding pair?
This is my prolific breeding pair. This pair here, I got them as, this is Anzac. I got her as a year-old, and then the next year I bought the male, and she was 3 when she laid her first egg, but he wasn't old enough to fertilize it. So just before they turned, she was not quite 4 and he was not quite 3. He hadn't coloured up, and then they started producing. This pair here can give me up to 8 eggs a season because they unfortunately don't sit on their eggs. I've tried leaving their eggs there, and they just throw them out after a few days. So yeah, I pull the eggs. She can lay 21 days after the first egg or 28 days. So I have to climb up and get the eggs straight away, and I put it in the incubator. Yeah, and fortunately it's been very successful with this pair.
So right now we're actually in the breeding season.
Yes, the end of the breeding season.
Coming up to the end, yeah. So what sort of diet do you do for them outside of the breeding season?
Outside breeding, I feed my birds seed. I used to feed pellets. Then we had an issue with getting pellets at times, and swapping birds from one pellet to another just didn't go for me. So around COVID time, I dropped pellets totally, and I just feed them raw seed now, and then we do soak seed and veggies and things like that.
So I'm looking at your birds, and they're in impeccable condition. That really says something about the birds. I mean, black cockatoos do fairly well on a higher fat, higher carbohydrate diet, don't they?
Yes, yeah. I like I say, I didn't have a lot of, I didn't have issues with pellets. It was the fact that I couldn't get pellets at certain times. So in seed here, it's from Top Flight, it's grown here, and it's always available. And
so,
in the wild, birds eat seed. They don't eat pellets.
So if that's their off-season diet, when you move into the breeding season, do you go to like a sprout mix or a soak mix?
I do a soak and sprout. I don't, just slight sprouting, and then I mix veggies in there. I'm lazy. I buy frozen veggies because I know that frozen vegetables, they've got the cream of the crop. And then I'll top it up with broccoli and things like that, or sometimes put apple in there. Not that they eat a lot of it, but yeah, seems to work.
Okay, so with breeding black cockatoos, obviously they're single egg layers. They tend to only lay 1 egg per clutch. In New Zealand, I think we have a bit of a problem where a lot of hens actually don't sit on their eggs. So a lot of people are pulling the eggs, incubating, and then hatching.
For some reason, most of our birds in New Zealand don't sit on their eggs.
There are a few people that are successful, but most
yeah.
of them, I do know, you are right, most people have problems with their hens sitting.
I mean, I've got 5 pair here and none of them sit on eggs.
So obviously when you take an egg, 21 to 24 days later, they cycle again, they lay another egg, and most pairs you can generally get 2 to 4, sometimes even more eggs a season out of.
Yeah, the majority of them, 3 or 4 eggs. But like I say, fortunately, I was very lucky with this pair here. Okay. And they've done me proud.
So blacks have become, I wouldn't say common, but they've become a lot easier to get on the New Zealand avicultural scene over the past, decade, really?
Yeah. Blacks, because the price has come down as well, and because they're breeding so well here, they're available. When I first built my first pair of blacks, I paid $46,000 for those. And then the price slightly, they didn't do anything for me, unfortunately. So then I decided I would buy young pairs. And these were $15,000 a bird. But
still high at 30,000 a pair.
It was, yes. Yes, you had to be serious what you're doing to outlay that sort of money. And then, but now the prices drop right down to 4 and 5.
About 5,000.
$5,000 or $6,000.
Yeah. It varies. I mean, local market's always going to be different.
Yeah.
You don't have the same costs associated with the export market to do with the local.
They have to pay more because it's, it's the cost of the CITES and the quarantining and all of the other issues that come with exporting. So the prices come down now. So that's why I think I used to maybe export them for $40,000. Now you're exporting for half that price.
So if we go back to breeding, one.
Hey, Cookio, yes. Blacks, I find blacks. I don't interact with my blacks very much because they are prone to get imprinted. But regardless of that, they are still gentle giants.
They're probably one of the few cockatoos, I would say, that make exceptional pets. They're probably one of the few cockatoos, I would say, make an exceptional pet.
Yes.
If you can get past the noise, they don't bite, and if they do, it's not a common occurrence.
Yeah, but if you have it for a pet, it's very hard to turn it into a breeder.
It's almost impossible, especially with males, right?
Males can be very imprinted. Yes. I know. Agreeing.
He's agreeing.
He's agreeing. Are you agreeing? Yes.
So with breeding blacks, obviously you've been very successful. Would you say that you've had more success with an open top wooden box, a log, or a standard size?
My open boxes are brilliant.
Yep. So open top boxes are the way to go, you think?
Yeah. They seem to like to go down it. The female is the one that works the box, that chews all the wood around the top. But they slide down there and then they come out. They don't seem to like to go in through a hole.
Right.
I have got the exception to the rule down the other end, the old pillar. But all of the other birds have open boxes.
Okay. And what sort of enrichment do you give these birds? I know you give a lot of natural branches.
Yeah, they get branches. They get a lot of gum trees, gum branches. They get
it's mainly the Aussie plants that you use, isn't it? So all the cone flowers and all that sort of stuff.
I'm trying to find a word for the trees.
they're the ones with the yellow cones. I can't remember the name of them.
Yeah. I'll remember in half an hour.
Yeah. Banksia.
They love the Banksia trees. They love the she oak. The little she oaks out there. They have little wee cones like that. Over in Australia, I think they're a lot bigger, but ours are just.
And what about cotonester and all that sort of stuff?
Not so much.
No?
Not so much.
That surprises me. I thought the red berry would catch
the gangs. That's more of a gang.
Yep.
These birds don't seem to like it too much,
Okay.
but the gum branches, the Banksias and the she oak, they love those.
We're very lucky to be filming inside these aviaries at the moment because, as we said at the beginning, it is the breeding season. It may be the end, but you are still getting eggs and chicks currently.
Yeah.
So would you say that you sort of spend a lot less time in your aviaries and give them a lot more privacy and a lot more?
Yes, I don't clean the floors.
Yeah.
I don't.
So disturbances are basically stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Because you don't want to interrupt them.
Yeah.
Even though we're in here now, and I know she's an egg.
You've bent the rules for us, so thank you.
She is the exception to the rule, is in invading her privacy.
Right. So for all those out there that are going to comment going, it's just 2 branches in there and all that sort of stuff, this is a breeding facility. And right now, being the breeding season for the red-tailed black cockatoos, you do try to limit and the amount that you are in the aviaries. Putting big new branches that they're not ready for can actually throw a hen out of cycle. She may lay the egg off the perch, she may stop breeding, all that sort of stuff. So enrichment goes a long way. I mean, right at Mary Lee's place, they've got birds next door, they've got a big open flight. They've got the nest box to work, they've got each other to play with and spend time with, as well as dietary enrichment. And then on the off season, that's when Mary Lee mainly introduces things like natural enrichment with branches and cones and things like that. So they're fairly straightforward to breed so long as you give them the right conditions, aren't they?
Yeah.
The biggest thing is making sure you don't have imprinted birds to start with, and buying young from reputable people that have hand reared correctly is the big thing. A lot of people spend too much time with their babies, and that was the old way of hand rearing them, and that's why there's a lot of older birds that are heavily imprinted that have never produced anything.
And you get that when you're hand rearing, when you spoon feed them, because you're far more interaction with them. I syringe feed, or I crop feed, and that's it. And then I put them away. I don't play with them. Macaws are different, but blacks, you know, you don't want to have them imprinted on you, and it just happens so fast.
Okay.
Look at that.
Hello, Nosy.
That's the diamond.
Hello, Nosy.
So cute. In here.
In here we have the dilute red-tailed black, although I'm currently in an argument with someone online trying to tell me it's a cinnamon. Which, you know, there is the slight possibility, but it is likely to be a dilute.
Not if it's a male.
Well, that's the thing. So it depends if it's a recessive or a sex-linked gene, yeah? I've always been told cinnamon is a recessive. Sex-linked.
Yes, that is the belief out there. So, you know, we can only go, but...
So we're currently in the aviary with the birds, and you've just put this hen in with him, correct?
Yes, yeah. This hen comes from the parrot, the pied black.
The pied hen?
The pied hen that I have here on site. So I'm hoping, you know, putting the 2 mutations together, even though that is not a visual pied, it's this one up on the wire. It's split.
Possible split.
Possible
split. Yeah.
So we're hoping that, you know, I can get something from it.
Yeah.
So I've only just put them together over the last couple of days.
Yeah. Because he would be coming up to 3?
He'll be coming up to 3. Yes,
and you've bred red-tail blacks at 3 years old. Cock birds have been fertile at 3, yeah?
Yeah.
And hens should be coming up 5.
She's coming up 5, yes.
And 5-year-old red-tail black hens can breed too, can't they?
That's right, yeah.
So there is a high chance that these could theoretically produce next season for you.
Hopefully.
Fingers
That's
crossed.
The theory.
That's the theory and the hope.
Yeah.
So this is the first in New Zealand, and
it is,
potentially the southern hemisphere, really, isn't it?
Right.
I don't think.
So we're here, but you know, there could be some hidden that we don't know about in Australia.
And this randomly popped out of 2 normal-looking birds.
Yeah, 2 birds that just normally throw just normal birds all the time. This was just a surprise.
Excites me a lot to see what happens with these birds. I can't wait to see the future.
Every year I was when I first had it, the second year, you know, often you get these birds that look like mutations, but then in the second year,
They
in their
molt
first
out.
molt,
Yeah,
it
they
molts
molt out.
and I wasn't going to get excited. Everybody was excited about this bird, but it was like, nah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But once it molted out, it's got even prettier. So,
Beautiful bird. In fact, I'd say that green on the front is almost like the green colour on a gang hen, isn't it?
well, it is
It's
very
not,
much so.
It's like a mustardy, yellowy green, and then the rest changes. So in the light, the primary feathers go quite dark, but then when bright light hits it, it almost fades out.
Yeah.
It's hard to describe, and I don't think we'll get that on camera.
Yeah.
It's
The thing is, on its back, at the top, just under its nape, up the back down there, it's quite light. And then as it goes down the bird, it darkens up, which, you know.
So comment down below if you're a red-tailed black expert, if you're from Europe and you breed red-tailed black mutations, what you think this is. I'm convinced it's a dilute. It just doesn't make any sense for me that it's a cinnamon, but someone keeps commenting on the nail colours. I just can't imagine it being a cinnamon personally.
So then, if it is a cinnamon and it'll be a sex linked, then it could breed
To anything.
visual
to
a
from
normal
a
hen
normal bird
because-
potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you won't get a.
Because it would carry it on the X and the Y chromosome, wouldn't it?
Because you don't get a normal split hen.
And you'll know when you produce,
Well,
won't you?
that's it,
Once you do.
Once we
Because
do.
they're all this
It will.
pair that you put together is now of age.
But yeah, both of them, yeah. I did have him paired up with another one that he really fancied, but I particularly wanted him to go with her, so we got the other bird off site. So that will give this pair a good chance of getting it together.
And she's quite a big hen, and that was your main concern was the size, because this bird is quite a significant amount smaller than a standard red-tailed black.
Yeah.
So you wanted to try and increase the size by putting it with a bigger hen.
Yeah,
And the possibility of carrying those genetic mutations further.
Yeah. I've had two of these hens from the pied, and this was the bigger one, and not so nasty one.
Not so nasty. Yeah, that other hen is a nasty girl.
Yeah. So we will see.
That's exciting.
Just keep watching.
Keep watching.
Yeah.
When she breeds those, I'll tell you what, she won't be telling anyone but me first, and we'll be coming up here and filming it. We will get the first.
So he thinks.
It's okay. It's okay. There you go. There you go. Right, so we're inside Mary Lee's house at the moment. We just wanted to show you guys a couple of the babies. There are others, but we're not going to have piles and piles of baby blacks out everywhere. But we just want to show you a couple of babies that she's got here at the moment. So we've got this little one. Hey. So this is actually being reared as a pet, which is the only reason we're able to do this, is that the main goal is this bird is going as a pet. And then we've got a little 2.5-week-old baby here, a little fluff ball. So, Mary Lee, when you're hand rearing black cockatoos, how long are you rearing them for? Is it the same as a macaw, 4 to 5 months?
Yeah, you can go as long as 9 months with red-tailed blacks. They are just so hard to wean. There's a window at about 4.5 months, 5 months. If you don't get that window, you could be hand rearing for a lot longer.
So for a baby at this sort of age as the one on my knee, you would sort of start in a couple of weeks from now. You would start offering foods to try and encourage it. Maybe put it with others that are a little bit older or something.
Normally, yes, I do put them with ones that are older, but that's the oldest one. So that one will be all right to train this little pucker.
So once this one's weaning, you'll put this one with it, and the two of them will help each other along, and it'll help speed this one up a little bit.
Yes.
So being a downy baby, do you tend to brood them at a lower temperature than you would, say, a macaw or a galah or anything along those lines, or do you find that they still require the higher temperatures?
At the start, I still have them at the same temperature.
So
I don't know what other
36.5-ish, yeah.
people do, but I basically treat them all much of a much.
Mm.
These ones will come out of the brooder faster. They, because they have so much down on them at time, and then they start. So this wee one here will be out of the brooder in maybe a couple of weeks' time.
Okay. And they grow fairly rapidly.
Once they start,
They go through growth spurts quite heavily, don't they?
Yes.
So they'll suddenly pack on a little bit of weight and then stop for a little bit and then pack on some more weight.
Yes.
Now with blacks, if you do miss that window, like you said, you're sort of stuck rearing them for up to 9 months.
Yeah, you can do, yeah.
And that's not unusual, is it?
No.
Yeah. So as we said before, when you're hand rearing blacks, it does pay to be as hands off as humanly possible. You do have to feed them. That is, if you're hand rearing, obviously that's an interaction. But the less you do, the better. You can tell just from this one, Mary Lee puts its hand forward and it lunges and carries on. That just shows that it actually got a hard little bite when you're that age.
Yes, yeah.
You can tell it's not used to being handled. It's not used to this sort of exposure.
Attention, yeah.
Whereas this one here has been hand reared as a pet and it's just sitting on my knee comfortably.
But it's not saying that, that this one won't be as friendly. I just don't, with a little bit more handling.
Of course.
But it's the less you give them, the more chance you have of it integrating into the aviary better.
Yeah, so it gives you two options, really, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So it means that bird can either go as a breeding bird or as a pet bird. Yeah. If it goes as a pet bird, once it goes as a pet bird, there's really no reverting it back to being a breeding bird.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that a lot of people, I get messages all the time from people going, oh, I want to buy a black cockatoo, I want to start it off as a pet, and then I want to get it a mate and try and breed it. And the first thing I say to them is, it ain't going to work.
Yeah, not so. It's more the males get imprinted than the females.
But like I said earlier in the video, they make exceptional pets. They're not an aggressive species.
Yeah, no.
They've
got an ugly looking beak, but
to some people it's a beautiful looking beak.
Oh, it's a frightening beak. It's not an ugly. It's a frightening beak when you first get into the blacks because it's so big. But they are gentle. Yeah.
Okay, is there anything else you'd like to add on the baby front? Do you have any major issues when you are hand rearing that you think people should know?
Yeah, it's just when you are weaning them, don't let them suck you in because they will beg and they will beg. And if you give in and start feeding them again, you're in that rabbit hole.
I remember visiting a breeder a while back, and they had a 3-year-old they were still feeding. And the bird, I think, was weaning, and then it was screaming for food, and they started giving it formula again, and it just reverted back to being a baby, and it stayed a perpetual baby until it actually died at 3 years old.
When I bought my other pair of blacks down the end from an elder guy, well, I'm his age now, but I've had the birds for several years. He would, when he was feeding his babies, he would go out to the aviaries and still feed the adults, any extra over. And it was like, why are you doing that? He said, well, why waste it? But I said, but it's not, you're training the birds to go backwards. And then in the end it did. It just didn't want to know about breeding. So,
the weaning's the trick with these guys. You've got to be able to keep an eye on the fact that they are eating, though, don't you? And would you do that through weight?
And the thing is, blacks are not a big bird.
No.
They look a big bird, but underneath all of that, so they are small eaters. People will say, oh, but it's not eating hardly any in the aviary, and but it doesn't eat. It doesn't pack on the weight. It does, you can't. Well, I've never seen an overweight. There could be. I've never seen an overweight red-tailed black.
No, neither have I.
They'll only eat what they need, and that's it. I've seen skinny ones, but never overweight. So they don't gorge out on food like the other birds do, like greys or galahs or Amazons.
Amazons, yeah. Well, that's really interesting. I mean, that's so the key is making sure you hit that window, and that comes down to making sure that you offer foods at a fairly early stage.
That's it, yeah.
So at about 3.5 months,
Yeah, like in a couple of weeks' time, she will be eating food.
And you would start with offering like sprouts and soak and veggies and things like that, and then you would slowly
and millet
introduce
spray.
Yeah,
They like them. They just play with the millet spray, and you've got to be prepared for that. Some people say, "Oh, but they throw their food out on the floor." Well,
that's part of weaning.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Yeah,
they don't like it, so flick. You go out into the aviaries, and when you feed your birds, they come along and they put their head in it and they're moving it back and they flick it out just so they can get their peanut or whatever is in there. And, the rest is all on the floor. That's not good when you're in a suspended aviary.
No, that's something.
Because the floor is down there.
Yeah. So that's something I would personally keep black cockatoos in a standard aviary that they're able to go down to the ground. Yeah. They tend to spend quite a bit of time down on the ground, don't they?
Yeah.
I mean, you can always keep them in suspended, but I think it keeps that natural behaviour that they have of going down to the ground. Are you distracted by that fantail?
Yes. Yes, sorry.
She's got a fantail that comes into the house, and we've got the doors closed because we've got the black cockatoo out, and she's probably looking at it going, "Oh, I'm sorry." Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Out there dancing on the bush instead of on my lights.
So yeah, that's how I would house a black, is just in a standard aviary.
Yeah.
But they do have, even though they aren't a big bird, they do have a very big wingspan for their body size, don't they?
And in saying that, I do have a pair of blacks out there that are in a suspended, only because the female can't fly. When I got her, she couldn't fly, and the original owners had perches everywhere, but I found that was dangerous for the male because he had to go too high, otherwise he was going to damage himself on the perches. So I opted to put them in a suspended, and when she falls off the perch, it's like she just falls on the wire and she bounces, and it's not an issue. When she falls off the wire onto a concrete floor,
she could split the keel, she could split her crop, do some serious damage. And it's really important that you design your aviaries around the species and also around the individuals.
Well, so that's right. Yeah.
If you do have a bird that can't fly, there's no point in putting it in a 12-meter by 5-meter aviary.
Yeah.
If it's better off to actually go into a suspended.
And sometimes the bird's damaged its wing, or it just never flew. So you say you can't have a standard aviary for all birds. You have to look at that bird and see if it's got any injuries or something like that, and then design the aviary around them. First of all, when I had her, I had to have a perch running up or a ladder running up, but I still worried about her dropping off the perch onto the ground. So it was easier to redesign the aviary and put her in the suspended.
And you did, and she's actually bred for the first time in her life.
Yeah.
In that suspended, am I right?
Yeah.
And that bird had been to multiple different facilities.
Yeah.
And never
multiple
bred.
Different partners.
Yeah, multiple different mates, multiple different facilities, comes to your place, gets put in a suspended that some people would go, you should never keep blacks in that, and she's bred.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she's the parent. They are the parents of the female that I'm going to
put with the
pied
It's the pied red-tailed black hen. Yeah. So that's a wrap on this part of the video. There will be other parts coming up. This is just the little part on red-tailed blacks. So I want to thank Mary Lee for her time on this. We are going to go back out and we are going to film more. So stay tuned. Keep an eye out. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.
Your favorite. Ooh. I got one of those.
Like